cannot keep a record of wrongs. I'm like, oh, really, Lord? I can't just keep it like in the back of my mind, you know? And he's like, no, you can't keep that record anymore. And I just have to say, this is our 11th year, I think, at Summit, our senior-old, started in first grade. And the thing that is always very comforting to me and always has been kind of the foundation has been, I have known many of the board members over these years, and I've always said, we have godly leadership, and that is critical, because I know that you all love the Lord, and you love each other, and you love us, and so that's what it's all about. That's the greatest commandment. So thank you all.
I've been here 5 years, and I teach pre-K. And I just want to share the heart of the teachers at this school. Every teacher that I know, and I've met most of them, have a God story about how God led them to this place. And I would say most of the parents I've met have God stories about how God led them to Summit. And I don't know the whole story, and I don't want to know all the details. And when I first heard all this stuff, my heart was broken. I thought, God, I love Summit. What am I doing here? I love all the people I work with. And people say, where do you work? I said, Summit Christian Academy is the best place to work. I love the kids I work with. I love what I do. You know, and I love it because God is Lord of campus. And that's the way I feel. And what I've seen is that some of us have taken our eyes off who God is and what the mission of Summit Christian Academy is. And this week that I've been praying, God's been speaking to me and He's been saying, if my people who are called by my name, that's all of us. It's not just them and us, it's all of us, because we're all sinners. And none of us are perfect. But if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, if we'll take the time to say, God, we want our soul to be whole again. God, show me what I need to do. And if we'll do that, and if we'll humble ourselves and stop pointing fingers, and stop being upset with one another, and say, God, what do you want me to do? What's my part? Then God will hear from heaven, and He will heal our land. And my prayer tonight is that this is the beginning of the healing for Summit, and it will be stronger and better. And I want to say, I have worked under Derek Cortez in the 5 years I've been here. I was at the Leander campus. And I wish he was here to feel honored tonight. I know that God is leading him in a different direction, but I honestly have nothing but the highest of praise for Dr. Cortez. You know, I've joked with him recently and said, who would want your job anyway? I mean, every year we had major challenges, and he could have run a long time ago, but he was a man of integrity, and he walked the walk. And tonight I honor Derek Cortez and Kim Cortez, and I just pray God's blessing. But I go back to, it's not about who brought all this about. It's not about the issues. If each one of us would say, God, what do I need to do to get right? What's my little part in mending this rift? Then God would bring healing. And that's where we should be tonight, is really, God, what can I do? And don't listen to all that. I don't need to hear all the details about what was said. You know, remember, He's Lord. We want to honor Him through Summit Christian Academy. We want to make His name known. We want to impact the world through Summit. Anyway.
Another question? You don't want to give the microphone. It'll be on that deal, right? So, with a week left in school, there's one of my concerns is we've got 60 families in here, maybe 70 families, representing 70 families. We've got 100 and some odd families that aren't here. Right now is the time where parents are starting to vote with their pocketbooks. I've got a concern that the 300 turns into 260 real quick, because maybe this is the straw that broke the camel's back for some people, that's it for them for whatever reasons. So how well off we are, be extremely transparent from what happened, an outreach, what happened at this meeting, and I didn't know Derek hardly very well, it was great, not great, whatever that, if my boss gets let go, I got to move on and figure out how we execute. And there's three things. You guys have started the transparency process. Thank you for that. You guys deserve kudos and stepping up to take the daggers. The second is accountability, and that's going to be proven out over time. But in conjunction with that accountability is execution. And I think that there's something that needs to be done to execute fairly quickly to ensure that our school doesn't turn from 300 to 260, because those 40 kids can be the ones that change the dynamic of the school, and we don't want them going anywhere else.
Well, some of the message can be controlled by you.
Yeah, no, I know. There's a week left, so it's like that.
Well, typically, you guys have all heard.
I can actually probably make that happen.
You guys have all heard the message. You guys have heard the message that I don't know what you wanted to hear or what you probably got out of this, but you've heard the message. We've been really crystal clear about the message, and if you like it or not, this is the message, and we have nothing to hide. I want to make sure that you understand that. There's nothing to hide. And on top of that, too, remember, part of that meeting, when we had that meeting, we were with the 12 families. We also agreed that we were not going to be spreading out or talking about that meeting. That meeting was for those families. And we were going to be dealing with those issues on a one-on-one basis with those families only.
And we want to make ourselves available to do that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where these were not rogue families, these are not people who were just bringing out who was on a wish list. This has nothing to do with that. These are legitimate concerns. So make sure that's understood. These are legitimate concerns that were brought forth and dealt with appropriately. Now there's a lot of emotion. A lot of emotion. Let's take that aside. Take that all aside and let's deal with what we have in a godly manner. And you've heard the message. You obviously want to say something about the message. Do it. That's all I can tell you.
Well, and we will. But the point is, you have the ability to do a one-to-many approach.
We do.
And the reality is this is in all fairness a credibility thing for you. So I'm absolutely going to do. My kids are over at other families. I'm going to go talk to them, talk about your transparency, talking about what you want to do. I'm not going to talk about the Derek stuff because it's done and gone. But I'm urging you as part of the execution part. I'll do my part.
Sure.
That's why I came here, so I can do my part and do it the right way. But to me, it's a very small window for you guys to make an impact and talk. How many? Very few people. I heard parents go, I wonder if we're going to get close to the registration. That we may have 300 students and we're ahead of last year's run rate is a great positive message. So I'm just asking you to put your marketing hats on real quick for the next week. And let's make sure that we can take the 300 and maybe get to 320 or 325 and we're down the road.
If we want to push it, we really want to push that up. Is we realize the climate that we're in. We understand the situations that have been presented to us, the challenges that we actually have to put forth. And as a board, we have a house to get in order first. And we want that to get in there. So we want to be able to go ahead and bring more people in and have that be a more transparent board. And I hate the word transparency because it's so overused. But we want participation. We want people to be a part of the overall process. We want you to feel like you got skin in the game. And you do.
Point well taken. And so we're very sensitive to that. We've already been talking about it amongst ourselves. Diane threw out an idea that the board take a list of parents and start calling and things like that. So and there'll be another email that goes out. Hopefully it's my last one for a while, just to kind of summarize the meeting tonight and then also talk about enrollment, do some vision casting and such like that. But as Chris said, each of you can help us communicate the message. I would encourage everyone, when you speak to people, speak your own reality, okay? One of the issues that's been very apparent to me is just the gossip and the hearsay and just the fuel that's been thrown on the fire. So you've heard it tonight. You know what you heard. You interpret what you heard in your own mind, and then you know what you believe. And you go out from this room and tell people what you really believe. And that will make a tremendous impact on what people think and say. If someone encounters someone that's extremely upset, refer them to a principal, refer them to the board, refer them to someone that they can talk to, and you know, I've gotten a lot of emails. Mrs. Collins has gotten a lot of emails, so email her, she forwards those to me, and I'm doing my best to answer just as many as I can, and do phone calls and such like that.
But, I kind of want to second that and also add to it that I had no idea that we're $100,000 in black, if I heard it correctly. We haven't really had an update as far as anything financially since the crisis. And so that is comforting to me. I'm one of those parents thinking, oh my gosh, I'm
Gotcha.
still in that situation.
Gotcha.
And if we lose 40 to 70 kids, I know what the break-even point is, but I know a lot of these parents don't know what that break-even point is.
Point well taken. And so we have not had any benefactor support on an ongoing cash basis to fund the operations for 2 years now. So it's all been through tuition and fundraising. Let me address fundraising. You know, the board's very aware that Summit is probably focused too much on fundraising. That's one of the reasons we increased tuition. So we're addressing that issue because I don't know about you guys, but as a parent, every day, every time I turn the corner, it's can you give to this, can you give to that, and such like that. So that's also an issue that the board is very aware of that we're going to be doing.